Hey guys, so tonight, or well, today for you guys, it's tonight for me while I'm recording this, but you guys will get it tomorrow. We're going to look at Sonnet 130. So it's another William Shakespeare sonnet, so it's a Shakespearean sonnet. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to go through rhyme scheme again, but it's going to follow that A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G rhyme scheme. So these final words at the end of each line, right? So sun and done, red and head, white delight, cheeks and reeks, know and go, sound and ground, rare, compare. Okay, so you guys can kind of hear that, those rhyming words. All right, so the game plan is I think that I'm going to read this to you guys, and then I'm going to kind of go maybe like every 2 or 3 lines, and we can kind of break it down so that way you guys understand what's going on. I think this poem's actually even more easy to understand than yesterday's poem, which is great. So I think you guys are going to get it. And it's a lot of this idea of like comparisons, but contradictory comparisons. And you guys are going to see what I mean when I start reading. So here we go. Sonnet 130. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. So when we talk about this poem, like let's just look at this big picture. We know that William Shakespeare is talking about someone, and that someone's right here. Okay, so that someone is going to be this mistress. Okay, so the someone that he is describing is a mistress, and he's using all of this imagery in this poem in order for you guys to picture this mistress. So I'm going to throw out some words there, and right now, as I'm throwing those ideas out to you, I want you guys to see if you can picture what this mistress kind of looks like. So, eyes nothing like the sun. Hair be wires, black wires grow on her head. There's roses, but not in her cheeks. She just walks on the ground. She treads on the ground. The breath that from my mistress reeks. So when I'm hearing all of these things, I'm not picturing a very model-esque looking person. I'm picturing kind of like a very average person, which is totally okay. And that's what he's picturing. And this is what he's talking about. So her eyes, you know, the sun, we know that if we're making a comparison, a metaphor with the sun usually means that they're bright, they're nice to look at, brings happiness. He's like, nah, her eyes aren't really like that. Coral is far more red than her lips. So what do her lips look like? They're very pale. She has black wires on her hair and her head. So like her hair must be like a little crazy looking and very stringy. He's seen roses, but the roses aren't on her cheeks, meaning she has very pale skin, guys. It's not that she has these bright pink, beautiful rosy cheeks. This one's my favorite line right here. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. So in other words, her breath probably isn't the greatest. So she might not necessarily be the most clean. You know, I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath or has far more pleasing sound. So, you know, she doesn't really sing. Her voice isn't the most beautiful thing. She just kind of, you know, treads, she just kind of walks on the ground. You know, goddesses, we usually picture those like Greek gods and goddesses floating and being elevated, you know, very graceful. Nope, she just kind of treads. But he changes his tone. And typically we see that volta or that shift in around lines 8 or 9. However, he doesn't do it until in between 12 and 13. And he switches and he says, and yet by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. So he's saying that she's beautiful, and this is how he sees her, and that she is, his love for her is, it's very rare. He can see her in this state, and that he thinks that she's perfect just the way she is. So this is a very interesting take and an interesting description of this like dark woman that he mentions, or his mistress. And so hopefully that alleviated some of the ideas you might have in the poem. Hopefully you guys were able to read it first and then watch the video, and maybe you guys piece together some of your own thoughts before reading it. Maybe you had some different thoughts from my analysis, and that's okay, because guess what? That's the fun part of poetry, is it can be interpreted. Wow, that's crazy. Interpreted in various ways. So I'm going to give you guys some questions to answer at this point about the poem. And I think that this is a good poem. I like this one. This is definitely one of my preferred Shakespearean sonnets. So let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, hope this helped.